You're listening to the British Baseball Podcast.
Dude. Whoa, we are recording. That's a lot of pressure. Okay.
This is gold, Andy.
Got it. Yeah, the cool dude approach. Okay, it's Escogido. That's the one we're sticking with.
You sure? You want to change your hat again?
No. Well, you see, no, I'm gonna stick with this one, mate. We'll go with this.
Are those hats then you got on your travels?
Mm-hmm. I've got a few. I've got this one, Escogido, Santo Domingo team. I've got the Serie de Caribe New Era one, again, Santo Domingo. And I've also got this one, Licey, El Tigres de Licey. Blues.
Kind of looks
really
like
good. These guys are kind of the Reds, these guys the Blues, and then you've got the other teams with the different colours as well. So it's all about what colour you are in Santo Domingo or in Dominican Republic, whether you're green, yellow, blue, red, where do you sit?
I'm sure we'll find out more about that if you've made a decision later on. I want to know though, well, we've been chatting for quite a while anyway.
We have.
So I suppose listeners would like to know, what have you been up to since we last spoke? Because a lot has happened.
Yeah, a lot has
since your last on the air. And you started off with a little mooch over to Italy.
Yeah. Well, I think when we last speak, I think it was the Josh Gibson MVP campaign.
Yeah.
Okay, so since then, I was over in Italy with Team GB and at the European Championships, which was phenomenal, absolutely fantastic. 2 weeks with the team, completely embedded with the team. It was COVID protocols still, so we were bubbled in the hotel, which I thought was superb because actually, for what I did, it was fantastic because the players couldn't get away from me and they were held captive. So they had to be there so I could paint them. I could get to know them a bit more. I could get to understand the dynamics of the team. I could really see the first week was the training week and they were just like all the prep for the competition. And then the second week was the actual tournament itself. And to be there from day one when all the players are coming in and they're all meeting at the training ground and they start off and then just like the first bus ride home. And then you get back to the hotel, everyone's having dinner, and just how the team spirit and how the bonding came together. I know you've had like Aaron Singh on and Josh and Zach and, people like that. And to meet those guys and just to see how quickly, I thought they knew each other really, really well. I was like, when did you meet each other? And they're all just like, oh, well, I met him on the plane. I met him in the airport, And I was like, wow, it seems like you guys known each other forever. But straight away, they're just in it. And that was incredible experience. And it was cool. It was cool to be there, for our country, for Team GB to actually see our country playing baseball in a major tournament and the professionalism of the staff, the quality of the staff, the coaching staff, the management staff, Glenn, the GM, like how well everything was put, Paul taking the photographs for the team.
Yeah.
Just superb. The setup's amazing. And people were doing it for absolutely nothing. And they're just doing it for the love of the team, and they want the baseball in this country to progress and get further and get bigger and get better. And absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It was and the project came together really nicely. I think you might have seen my book, Happy and Glorious. Just happened to have a copy of it on my lap here. And again, I'm really, really proud, really happy with the way it all came together. Again, it kind of takes you through. I think this is a baseball book like no other. And again, I'm really pleased I've started this with Team GB. So we've got Turin, we've got the training. And then again, it was just the way it stepped up, like every training session, the severity of the session or the seriousness just got a little bit more intense. And then we've got all the games.
And it's not just pictures, is it? Well. It's got a bit about the games themselves and the box scores and it's quite a nice little memento of the tournament.
Yeah, it's completely unique. I mean, I don't think there's any other books on baseball like it. And, the Brad Marcelino, we've got all some of the players at the back here. So it was, it was absolutely wonderful. I mean, an absolute honour to be there, to hear the national anthem playing and to be part of the setup. And, the last game, Drew asked me if I wanted to come into the dugout and paint from the dugout. Like, huge honour to be actually in the dugout for the last game for the team, painting in the corner. And by that, I've never rooted for a team so hard. Like, I know those guys relatively well in the couple of weeks we were together, and like they were, heart in your mouth, and you just dying for them to get the strikeout or get the home run or whatever else. It was fantastic. Loved it.
So how hard is it for you to fit into the group straight? Like you said, then the players had pretty much just made sure they started gelling because they had that baseball connection. Did you find it quite easy to settle in with the team, or did they see you really a bit cautious around you to start with?
No, they're brilliant. Brilliant. And again, this is the wonderful thing about baseball for me. This is why I've got 2 nephews in this country, 3 nephews overseas, and I'd be desperate if I had, sons or daughters, I'd be desperate to get them into baseball. Like, you cannot walk past one of the team players or one of the guys you walk past. If you're carrying something, they'll ask you if you need a hand. And maybe that's because, you're old and you're looking feeble and you're not as strong as them, but also just the manners and just the way, like, if you're in the setup, if you're part of the team, you're part of the team. And it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you've played well, not played well, whether you're, who you are. If for me, straight away, like, Drew introduced me in there was one of the training sessions in this very small ballpark just outside of Turin. And, I'm in the stands painting, and I'm down by the sidelines and I'm painting them. And I can see him kind of looking over like, who the hell's this guy? Like, what's he doing? And then at the end, Drew introduced me. He said, oh, by the way, we've got this guy with us. He told him a little bit about myself. And, I said, look, I'm just here. I want to, document you guys and what you're doing. But I'm just going to be out of the way. I don't want to be an inconvenience. I don't want to get on your nerves. If you need me, just tell me if you need me to leave the room, whatever. But straight away, they're just like, right, you're in, Andy, da, 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 da. You get on the bus, and then on the bus, Grant Carey straight away, do you want to play Mafia? And I was like, what's Mafia? And he said, do you want to play Mafia? And I was like, yeah, go on then. I don't know what it is, but I'll play. He said, okay, go to the back of the bus. So you go to the back of the bus and you sat there, and there was a game called Mafia, where I can't remember exactly how it works, but basically it's like a team building game, I guess. Yeah. So you're part of the team straight away. You're in this game, they're all taking the mick out of you. They're all getting on your case. You're getting on their case straight away. By the end of that journey, you've traveled only half an hour, and you're laughing and taking the mickey out of each other, like knowing each other for years. It was superb. So it was, like, even in the book, I'm in the pitchers meetings, I'm in the hitters meetings, I'm in all the different bits. And again, the coaches were fantastic. I said to them, look, if you need me to leave, or you don't want me here, or if this is, if I'm getting in the way, you just tell me. I'll step out. I'll step aside. But no, they were just so generous with their time, welcoming. I loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. I've actually just done, this is another thing I wanted to show you. I've just done this for the Shooters Joe Jackson Museum in South Carolina.
Nice.
They've put together a little collectible pack of trading cards.
Oh.
They've got is it 20 different artists? I think 20 different artists have done something to do with a Joe Jackson image, and there's a limited edition number of packs. Now, Dan, the man at the Shooters Joe Jackson Museum, he's put together the packs, and he's given, I think he made 500. Joe Jackson's hitting average was 356. So the rest of the cards he sent to the artist. So we've got, these here. But on the back here, it's got you've got your own baseball card, and it's asked you, where you throw, your favorite team. So of course, Team GB, favorite team. So you can put on a favorite stadium, favorite book, favorite player. Yeah. So it's got all those things there. But yeah, Team GB, they're my team now. So so that was the Team GB experience was amazing, and it was just a very unique. Again, with all the COVID stuff, it was very unique having to, they were training in the car park. We were in the gym. I was in the gym one morning, and that's very embarrassing, sitting next door, working out next to a baseball player. And then they all disappeared, and I was like, where are you guys going? Oh, we're going to go and do some training. I was like, where are you going? Oh, the car park. So you go into the car park, and in between all the pillars, they're doing their pitching, they're throwing medicine balls around and all this, bouncing them off the walls, because you couldn't really go outside. And it was really... sometimes you could go and do this, you're allowed to do that. Sometimes you weren't, you had to go and do this. But again, the way the team adapted, but the way they did it, the professionalism was unbelievable. And they did, they did incredibly well. And superstars came out of that tournament, and they've gone on to do, some really good things, getting in some good teams in the States and who knows where else. So, I loved it. I think that hopefully that comes across.
Yeah, definitely. What was your dugout experience like then?
Intense. Absolutely intense. Like you can't get any closer to the game. You can be, sometimes I'm painting in the stadium and I'm right back at the back. Sometimes I'm right behind home plate, all this sort of thing. But you're in the stadium, or you're in the regular part where you normally would go. To be in the dugout and you've got, you're right there, and and the guys are coming in, like the pitcher's coming off the mound, and you know, you're getting high fives all over the place, and he gives you one as well. You get a fist bump or whatever, and you're like, wow, you're right involved now. Like there's no separation. Somehow you were right there with the team. So to be in the dugout was really intense, really emotional, really kind of full on. I did the same in the lead on. That was like so, and it was also, you know what, this one was one of the most beautiful ballparks I've ever been to. This one just outside of Turin, heading towards the Alps.
Yeah,
you've got this little ruined castle up on the hillside up here, and then Drew and Co are down here in the corner over here. Like, yeah, I mean, it was just a beautiful. And actually, that game there was lightning, so there was a thunderstorm in the background. So I remember, you know, the lightning would be flashing in the background over here, and the pitch would turn into a silhouette, and like it was just a beautiful, amazing kind of magical game. But yeah, it was just intense. But again, just seeing just how it works, like seeing the coaches talking to each other, working out what to do next, getting the call to the bullpen. You know, Drew going out, getting the pitch if needed, or going to have a chat with the catcher, whatever. It was, you know, yeah, you really see the inner workings of the game, and the just what it means to everybody. Just inspirational, like really, like the again, take my hats off to those guys and everybody involved, and any baseball player really, like the dedication and what you have to put yourself through to be a top athlete like that is just next level.
Did you get on well with anyone in particular, like staff or players, or was everybody just as well?
No, the whole lot. You had you had different things with everybody, different jokes with everybody, different things you'd hang out and do with everybody. But no, they're all superb. Like, you know, you'd play those games on the back of the bus, and then you might have some drinks in the evening, you'd be playing cards, and but no, they're all just absolutely top guys. Really, really good. So I loved it. It was just really funny little moments here and there, and little in jokes, and you know, all that sort of stuff. But there was just everybody's just in the team. Like it was just, and you know, that's a credit to the Team GB system and the coaches and the way they've set it up. Like they foster that ideal straight away. Like you're in the team, and that's it. And yeah, incredible, really cool.
Was it quite difficult for the dugout painting for you? With it, you described it then as being quite emotional and quite intense. Did that affect your painting, or did it make it any better? I suppose that emotion.
I think it all comes across. That's what I want it to be like that. I want it to be. I don't want to be. I want to be as close to the actual. I want to feel wherever I'm painting or whatever I'm doing. I want to be 110% with it. Like I'm probably a bit extreme myself in many respects and in my life. So I feel like I want to be right. If I'm there, I'm 110% there. If I'm not, I'm way at the back somewhere. Like I'm. So when you're painting that, I want it to be that I am feeling all of that. But I do. I think that's you know, the way I paint, and you know, the way I paint. There's my style of painting. The way that I naturally express myself is, you know, I like the expression, I like the emotion, I like the atmosphere. It's all about that, and I feel like that's what comes across in my work, hopefully. And that's you know, it's part of me. It's part of the atmosphere. It's part of the whole experience. It's me experiencing this thing. But I mean, it's. Yeah, in some respects, it's hard in the fact that, you know, the guys on the mound, and you're absolutely, you know, I'm rooting. Like the Belgian game was that crazy game where,
oh yeah,
you know, we thought we'd wrapped it up, and we thought, you know, well, I thought, oh yeah, right, you know, we're going into the 8th, right, great, okay, we've done it, and then it absolutely just spanned just completely around, and like never seen such a crazy game of baseball in my life, and it's just like. You're so I've never been so invested in a team, like so invested in the team, and just you're dying for them to win. You just want to get that final out, and then Chris Messer gets up, throwing absolute darts, like, and brilliant, just closed it out. So it was, yeah, I mean, it was intense, but exactly what I want, exactly how I want my work to be. You know, I want to be working in those conditions where I'm just feeding and working off that atmosphere, and again, hopefully that comes through the work.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, like I've seen, well, you work as well up close, and I think our house, our wallpaper is Andy Brown artwork, which is never a bad thing, but yeah, it does it looks fantastic. So you moved then from Italy, you had a bit of time back in Britain, and then you were back up into the skies again.
Yeah, I was over to the Dominican. I had a project over there that had been on and off for about over a year, I guess. It was a project I mean, it all came like a lot of things. It came about in relatively unexpected fashion, but it was a couple of years ago. I got a message from a guy in Santo Domingo. I'd met his boss, or a guy that he works for. I'd met him in Guadalajara in Mexico in 2019 at the Premier 12 tournament I was painting at, and ends up that every year this agency and this guy they make a book to do with the culture of the Dominican Republic. So this guy had seen my work in Guadalajara. We'd talked a little bit. I didn't know who he was or what he did, just nice fella you're talking to. And then I get this message about, we've got a project we'd like to talk to you about. We really love your work. So got talking to these guys, and it's to make a book. So it's a book all to do with the Dominican culture, or the Dominican baseball, and how important it is to the culture. So, like I say, it was on and off. It was supposed to be 2020 was supposed to be when I was going to do it, but because of the COVID situation, they're still with the season, but they didn't have the fans. So, like many places, strange kind of season. So, yeah, they weren't sure if it was going to happen, on and off for all of last year. And it was only like 6 weeks before I went out, I kind of had another meeting with the guys over there, and they were like, yeah, it's going to happen. But I kind of felt like they weren't still 100% sure it was, but they were seeing if I was available. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, I'm coming, or whatever. I'm there if it's happening. And it was only about 3 or 4 weeks before I left that I got an email, and they were like, okay, here's your flight, here's your ticket. We'll see you in 3 weeks, or whatever it was. And it was like, oh, okay, I'm doing this, we're going. So, and it was fantastic. I mean, that was I was supposed to be there for 3 months, ended up being there for 4. And it was, again, it was like, the Dominican is or for me, I found it a very extreme place. You've got extreme poverty, you've got extreme wealth right next to each other. It's very, very loud and very, very passionate, but then you turn around and call it's completely dead silent. It just goes from like 0 to 60 within no time whatsoever. And anything can happen. And, I was being taken around all the different levels of baseball there. So, like these here, they're both from the Serie de Caribe, in fact, but you'll be painting at the Serie de Caribe, and then again over my shoulder, over the back here, you've got the topper painting from the Vitia, which is where they're using a bottle top and a broom handle. So you've got like the original form of baseball, or the street form of baseball there that they play. You've got a softball game just below that one there. So I was being taken to all the different levels of baseball. So it was, and that was quite extreme. Again, it was quite surreal, because like in the morning you might be at a sugarcane village, and it would be like a pretty, certainly not a prosperous area, and you'd be in this village where everyone's there working on the sugarcane fields. And then you'd go to the ballpark there, and it'd be like Albert Pujols had put it together, maybe, I don't know how many years before, but a good few years before now. And you've got kids walking around there flying kites made out of plastic bags. They've got no shoes on their feet. There's plastic bottles like just everywhere. Just, it's just, quite a poor kind of area. And then in the evening, you'd be in the dugout with the Gigantes de Cibao, or you'd be, in the big stadium with a massive crowd around your painting. So it was quite an extreme few months doing the baseball and all the different levels of it, and meeting all the people, and yeah, it was incredible. Like, I can't believe, like, I reckon in the end, I probably did about 150, 140 different paintings in the 3 months when I was on the project. And again, the project just got bigger and bigger. Like, you started with, okay, it would be, for the first 3 weeks, I was with the agency, and they'd be taking me, we had a van, so they'd be taking me around all the different spots, and I'd be meeting people they'd set up to meet, or to different games or different ballparks. But as I got to know people a bit more, and get to meet some of the journalists and some of the fans and whatever else you get talking to, and then they'd be like, oh, you know what, you should go and paint this guy, or you should go and meet this person, and da-da-da-da. So it ended up that the project just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just went into these, crazy shifts where, like, one moment, I was painting Rudy Rosario, like an Uber fan for the Aguilas. I saw this guy at the ballpark one day. He's got this big yellow hat on, huge, like, lapelled, like, yellow suit, and he's in the crowd, and everyone's taking photos of him, making videos with him. And I was like, who's this guy? Like, he's something. And the Aguilas weren't playing that game. I think it was the Estrellas versus Licey, maybe, I can't remember. But anyway, I was thinking, why is this guy here, and who is he, and whatever. So I took some photos of him, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but maybe we should find out. It ends up he's like the big supporter for Aguila. So he's like, he always wears his yellow suits, and he looks like Al Capone, like, incredible looking guy. So, the next day it got set up that we go and meet him, and you're at his place and he's there with his tailor. He shows his wardrobe, and his wardrobe's got all these yellow suits of different variations, all these different hats he's got. He had like a little kind of man bag, I guess you call it, which was signed by Pablo Escobar's brother or something like this, or cousin, or who knows who. So you got this character that's like complete, he's like a comic book character. And you're there with him in the morning, and then in the evening you're at the stadium, and I was in the skybox in the media center up here, and I was painting Franklin Mirabal, one of the big commentator for the Lycée, the Tigres of the Lycée. And the man's like an opera singer, like when he's commentating, he's just the way he bellows out the calls and the extreme, every strike, every pitch, every foul ball, he's crying about it, he's celebrating, he's cheering about it, whatever happens for every single pitch of the game. And it was just kind of, and then of course, you're painting David Ortiz one day, and then you're painting Rufo El Leon, the mascot for these guys, Escogido. You're painting him one day. You've got a man who's 36 years old who comes to your place, and you see him on the street, and he's turning into Rufo El Leon. And I filmed him. I made a video of him. But then afterwards I told, you can't put that out because nobody can know who Rufo El Leon is. So you see this guy change into Rufo El Leon, and then he comes into your house, and he's sat on my sofa, and you've got a 36-year-old man dressed in a mascot's uniform on your sofa, and you put some reggaeton and merengue on YouTube, and you listen to that while you do a little painting of him. And it was just these kind of surreal, funny days, like really kind of bizarre, extreme, funny days. But all good. It was phenomenal.
So tell us a bit more about some of the characters that you met while you were out there. Because you've named some pretty impressive names so far.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like in terms of the again, it was incredible. What an honor. I mean, I was meeting like the superstars. Like, you meet Big Papi, and then you're there painting Marcell Ozuna, and then I was in the stadium at the finals, and then Pipe Ureta, the head coach for the Gigantes de Cibao, he come up to me and he said, "Oh, you Andy Brown?" I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, yeah, I've followed your work, like your work, So we're having a chat, and really nice fella." And then he said, "Look, if you want to do anything today, like if you want to come in the dugout tonight and paint down there, if you want to paint any of the players, whatever you need, just let me know." And I was like, "Well, I'd like to do your portrait." He said, "Yeah, of course." So you go down to the field, and they're just doing BP and stuff, or it was kind of a way before the game. So started doing a portrait of him. So I'm there doing that, and then you turn around and the whole of the team are like behind you, and you've got these massive guys behind you, and they're all looking over your shoulder at the painting and seeing what you're doing. And then Marcell Ozuna comes up to you and gives a little nod or whatever, a little fist bump or whatever. And you've got just all these players like you're used to watching them, and you think what they're doing is good. And then they are the guys who are behind you, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, next you're going to do me, next you're going to do me next." So, pretty funny, pretty extreme doing those, getting to meet those guys and do their portraits and have them, laugh about it and joke about it a bit.
Yeah.
And, kind of, that was pretty incredible. And then, I mean, there was, but also like, you meet the little kids in the stadium, you meet these kids who, they want to get the foul ball. If they can get a foul ball, maybe they can sell it to somebody, or maybe they can use it to play baseball themselves. At the end of the game, the game, they're going around, some of them, and they might be looking for food and leftovers and all this. You've got some like really tragic situations over there, but you're meeting kids like that who are there and kind of live in the ballpark, and you're seeing the reality of baseball and life in Dominican for some people, and again the what baseball means to people there. It's that thing of, well, I knew that the Dominican Republic produced good baseball players, and I know that the Dominican players are good. But then when you go there and you see, kids who are like 4, 5, 6, whatever, and they've got baseball bats and mitts, and they're training and they're working out and they're practicing and they're playing, and then and they might not have shoes on their feet, or they might be on a pitch that's like covered in rubble and it's not flat. It's just, you think, wow, I can't believe they're doing this. And then they're in the streets and they're playing with stones, or they're playing with a bottle top, and they're playing with a broom handle and all this sort of thing. And then you go to the MLB academies, or you go to the academies, and you see these places where they're, you go through the gates and they're it's like a carpet, and you've got kids there who are not more than 16, because that's when they usually go into the MLB academies, and you've got kids who are, the way they play baseball is incredible. They're skipping and jumping all over the field, and they're scooping up the ball and tossing over to first base like it's nothing at all. And it was just extreme. And then you realize, you think, well, this is a game, this is a sport. People love it. People enjoy playing it. People love going to support it. But for plenty of people over there, it's a way out of their situation, or it's a way of bettering themselves, helping their families, helping their communities as well. You know, you go to towns, like we went to the town where Vlad Guerrero's from, and the whole town, you know, murals of Vlad Guerrero, a big number 27 on the side of the hill. You've got it's just, but again, he's putting money back into that place. He still lives in that place, so he's helping out that place. And yeah, the impact that they, you know, they always talk about leaving the door open for the next generation. You know, David Ortiz was talking about that, and you know, so many of the players that I met were talking about that. It's, you know, they're all trying to help that next generation come through, because that's where they come from. They know what that's like. They've you know, Emilio Bonifacio plays for Licey. He came over to my place for a painting or for a portrait. And again, like I was painting the Colmados, which are like the corner stores, but then I mean, it's like a news agency effectively, but it's like it really is like the centerpiece of every street, or every little bit of a barrio will have on the corner will be a Colmado, and that's where people go to drink and hang out, listen to music, dance, watch the baseball. So I was painting those sorts of places. But again, like Emilio came into my place and he was looking at some of the paintings, and he loved these ones of the Colmado because that's where he grew up. I think his parents owned a Colmado in Santo Domingo. So again, you realise that the you know, where everyone's come from to where they are now, what they're aiming for, it's quite spectacular. It's quite incredible. But again, it was very moving, to be honest. Like I was physically and emotionally and mentally a bit of a wreck by the end of it, because it was so exciting. It was so much. It was a lot to see, a lot to meet, a lot to take on, a lot to witness, and it was just an honour to have been there and done that. And I'm hoping, like with the book and the work, I feel like, well, it was amazing to do that project, to like, you know, I've never done a project that are so embedded with and so intense, and I feel like I know that, like, for the country, for the people in the paintings, they loved it, and it's you know, I can't believe I'm there, I'm the guy behind the easel watching it all happen. So it was kind of cool.
See, you touched on some stuff there about that it was pretty much like baseball bus for a lot of people. How did that experience, or how has that experience affected or impacted you? Because just hearing that then about the kids, they're about the same age as my son. Like just playing with scraps and just hearing that they're trying to get a foul ball to try and make ends meet. I think if I was there, I'd be trying to adopt every single one of them.
Yes,
I'd find that really difficult to witness. So how was it for you, and like has it changed you at all or impacted you?
Well, yeah and no. I mean, it's that thing of, I mean, yeah, of course you want to help everybody. Like you can't see that and feel like, oh, this is all right, or this is, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, you realise how lucky and fortunate you are to be from the UK, or be in this situation that I am in, and to be there painting it and doing what I'm doing there. Like that's an incredibly privileged position to be in. But you've got to be thankful for it. You've got to realise, well, you're lucky with that. And then again, you're thinking, well, okay, how can what I do help and benefit other people? So, you know, there's a few little things that I'm thinking about trying to do. I mean, a very, very small one was just like, I love, like, there was one place where there was a team training, like, and again, the young kids, the young boys, and they're training on this field, and the field is just like this. It's just got huge craters in it. It's got bricks at the back over there, and it's got all sorts of stuff. But then there's some of the kids come around, they want to see what you're doing, they want to know who you are and where you're from, So you start talking to them a bit. Now, my Spanish is not fantastic at all, not good at all. So you're talking to them a little bit in Spanish, but then you can teach them a little bit of English, and then they can teach you a little bit of Spanish, and then they want to learn how to paint. So you're showing them a little bit how to paint. Okay, you know, I know enough about the colours, and if you can say what a tree is and all this. So you're starting to teach them a few little things, and you're just having these nice interactions with them. And I know that isn't an awful lot, and it doesn't really necessarily change their lives, but maybe it's just a little bit something which, you know, makes their day a little bit more special, a little bit better, a little bit different. But, you know, those sort of kids, again, you know, I was a teacher for 15 years, and I feel like, well, education and the learning is key, and this is what, you know, this can help in a certain extent. So again, you know, there's a guy I know, Steve Pinder, works at the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. I met him in 2019. He has a charity called Roberto's Children. And what they do is they send used baseball equipment in the States all around the world to people who might need it.
Yeah.
So again, when I was with those kids at that place I'm just talking about there, I painted their coach, a guy called Chepe, who, again, he's teaching kids how to play baseball because it hopefully can help them one day. I went to his house the next day. They invited me over to do his portrait. So I go to his house. And again, he's not making any money out of teaching kids how to play baseball. They're making ends meet with like the just any equipment they've got, any sort of funding, any sort of money, anything they can get their hands on, they're using it to get the kids tops, to get them baseball bats and whatever else. So I got in touch with Steve at the Hall of Fame. I said, look, like there's a guy here I've just met, because I know that I go to all these different places. Maybe I can be that thing, or I can kind of help just hook people up and get things coming through that way. So there's little things like that. And even like at the end now is painting some of the shoe shine boys. You go down the Malecon in Santo Domingo or just anywhere, and there's kids who want to shine your shoes. And again, they need to make a certain amount of money before they can go home that night, or to help feed their families and all this sort of thing. So again, you get them to shine their shoes and give them a little bit of a tip. And then some of them I was doing portraits of them. I thought, well, I'll give them, they can have their, I'll do their portrait. If they want it, they can have it. So a few of the kids, I gave them the portrait and they took that away with them. It'd be nice to think that, one day they might be able to sell that for a huge amount of money, or maybe one day, or maybe it's just like, maybe it just gave them a little bit of a boost that day. And you think, well, don't know, you just do what you can, but I'm not sure, I don't know what I can do really. It's just little bits, and again, generating awareness. But I'd hope that my work can be used for that sort of, for positive, helping people along the way as well, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Did you find it hard to settle in when you went over there? I know probably actually the same with the GB stuff, with being a completely different culture and language barriers. How easy was it for you to adjust and settle? You were away for quite a long period of time. It was over Christmas as well. Was it? Yeah. Was it quite a hard project for you?
No, well, I mean, yeah, it was in many respects. In some respects, it was, but settling and getting to know the culture and getting to know the people, or just feeling at home, or no, not really. I mean, people were very welcoming there, and they're very friendly there. Very, very generous, very, very kind. Like you go somewhere and you need something, somebody will help you out. Like there's no, like the Colmado would take my post, like the corner shop would take my post. If I wasn't in, the postman or the delivery guy would leave it with Senor Luis down at the thing. I had a bad stomach at one point. You don't need to know too much about that, but like I went into the Colmado and ordered. I said, I need this and this and this, and he was like, oh, you're asked about my stomach. I said, yeah. It's not great. And anyway, a few days later, I go back in. He's asking how my stomach is. Are you all right now? Whatever else. Like, you just, like, people make you feel so welcome there, and help each other out so much there. So it was, so no, I felt relatively at home. Of course, like I say, my Spanish isn't great. So you're learning bits and you're picking things up, but people want to talk to you. They want to know what you're doing there. They want to know who you are. But they're incredibly welcoming, incredibly generous. They really are. So, again, I painted a portrait of one of the car parking guys who was kind of near my street. And at one point he comes back from the shop and he's got some bread and some avocado, and he breaks it all up and he gives you some avocado and gives you some bread and all this. And this guy's not earning, I don't know how much he's earning a day, but he's not earning, I don't know, more than $10 a day, I don't expect. Probably maybe even less than that. I've no idea. But he's not earning a lot of money every day. And like this avocado and this bread's his lunch, and maybe that's his only food for the day, but he's sharing it all out with you. And you're like, well, that's again, it's a lesson. It's good to see those things and realize those things, and realize, well, we can all be a little bit, you've got to catch yourself out a little bit at times and realize, well, use that for good, I guess. A little bit of a learning lesson.
Right, let's do a bit of tourism board stuff, try and pick it up a bit, because
where are we promoting today?
The Dominican Republic. Let's talk about the areas that you went to. Yeah. Tell us about the foods, the ballparks, and those sort of experiences, and give us an overall sort of picture of the places that you went to.
Yeah, I mean, I went all over the place. I mean, beaches are fantastic. If you want to go to a nice beach, Dominican's got so many nice beaches. The food is fantastic. If you go to the beach, the fish. The sancocho is my favorite. That's like a chicken soup, like a stew, I guess. And I mean, it's fantastic. Like a chicken soup with plantain and veggies, and it's delicious, with rice, beans. Where else did I go that I liked? I mean, the ballparks are really, I love the ballparks because they're all relatively simple, I guess, is one thing you'd say about them. They are not like the big MLB ones with great big, scoreboards and all the rest of it. They do have the scoreboards and stuff, but they don't have all the electronics and all that sort of thing. But the noise and the music that the fans are playing, and they have a band, so every team will have a band with like big trombones and trumpets and drums, and everyone's dancing. The atmosphere of the ballparks was phenomenal. Like the passion again for the game. You know, if a team wins the game, it's just a regular season game. They win the game, and then at the end of the game, there's like a big party out in the street, all the way out of the stands, through the whole stadium. There's like a big procession, and the procession will be following the band. So the band will be at the front playing the music. Everyone's going absolutely wild, and they're just following the band along. And it's a procession of like, I don't know, a few thousand people. And they go out onto the street in front of the ballpark, huge big party. And then they do the same the next night if they win again. If they don't and they lose, they just go home that night. But every night is like that. Like it's not, there's never an off day with it. Like it is always like full on, win or lose, it's full on. And then when you get to the finals, I mean, when the Gigantes won the final, like again, it goes absolutely bananas. Like it's absolutely like the you know, at the end of the game, I think it was game one. I think it was Estrellas won it, and that was in San Pedro de Macorís. And we're coming out of the stadium. We leave the stadium, it's going wild in the stadium. Outside the stadium, you're on your way back home to the hotel, so you're on the way back there. And then you see all these scooters coming along, and there's people in their cars, and they've got like big sound systems. The speakers are attached to the top of the cars, and they're just blasting out this reggaeton. There's people hanging out of the cars. They've got in their trucks. They've got big speakers in the trucks. And it's just hundreds and hundreds of cars, scooters, all going along, just driving around like a big convoy, going through the streets, just blasting out music, people dancing outside, out of the sunroofs. Yeah, pretty wild. It was very extreme, but it was fantastic. I mean, just so much fun all the time.
Yeah. From your experience, then, which team do you say has the best or the most passionate fans, who had the best environment?
Geez, that's a tricky one and get you in a lot of trouble. But I would have to say the craziest fans for me were the Aguilas. That's in Santiago, up in the north. Yeah, really, really wild fans and really fun fans. They're like them and Licey are kind of traditionally the two big teams that have the rivalry, the Blues and the Yellows. And I was at the game when I was in Santiago was Licey Aguilas, and Licey were winning, and then I can't remember what inning it was, 6th, 7th, 8th inning, whatever. Aguilas started to come back into the game, and it was just getting a little bit more possible, and there was just a bit of crescendo in the crowd and a little bit more going on in the crowd, and then they pulled it back in like the 9th inning, and the place went just absolutely wild. Like it was huge party. I even got to dance a bit of bachata, which I've never done before, and I don't think I'd dance bachata, but some lady tried to make me dance bachata, and I let her down big time. But anyway, I tried my best for the, I don't know, 30 seconds, which we were holding each other. It was very romantic.
Which was your favourite area to paint then?
You mean in terms of the ballparks, or?
Just in general, because I did a lot of stuff that was away from the field as well. Where did you have the most fun?
Oh, I don't know, Matt. It was all fun. It was, you know, I was painting the dominoes on the street corner in the Colmado where I was living. That was fantastic. Like I went and painted inside the Colmado. That was fantastic. I go and paint a marble the car parking down that guy down there. Like everywhere. You know, I went to the beach. Like the beach is beautiful to paint at. Really nice. You've got beautiful sunsets. You've got the surfers. You've got, you know, people walking down the beach. You know, you might be drinking a rum and coke or something. Like that's pretty good fun. But you know, for me, it never fails. Like you know, I was painting the Son Cubano dance place. Like that's what I love about my work is when I'm painting, when I'm doing it. Number one, I've got the most. I'm feeling at ease. I'm feeling peace. I'm feeling like I'm just loving it. I'm just enjoying like wherever I am, whoever I'm with, if I'm with somebody or not, or if somebody's in front of me or not. I'm in my happy place. I'm in my zone where I'm just like, it's just wonderful to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. But then you go to these places and you meet different people and you learn a little bit about their lives, or you something kind of funny happens, or you meet like a crazy character, and I'm just always learning about people and always learning about new experiences and seeing how different people live life. You know, we're all here doing our things, and everybody's got to do pretty much the same stuff. But we've all got different situations and all got different circumstances in which we navigate our way through it. So I find I just learn a little bit more about, you know, the world and existence and what it all means, and just learning.
Cool. We've got a couple of minutes left. So what's next?
Next, well, the summer's got a few possibilities. Really, what I need to do is learn Spanish. I've got to get my Spanish better, because there's so many, at the Serie del Caribe, of course, I've lived in Mexico for a while, and you meet all the Mexican fans again. I met some of the owners from the teams in Mexico, and I want to get back there for a while. So I'm looking at a few kind of tours, a few trips over there. The Panama team were there, the Venezuelan team were there, the Colombian team, of course, won the Serie del Caribe. So they're all places that I want to get to. And I know that my Spanish is not where it needs to be and where I'd like it to be. So I'm looking to get over that part of the world possibly and do some Spanish learning, Mexico, do some painting, work some teams over there, maybe work with who knows over there. So got a few projects here and there. Team GB are supposed to be playing again later on this year, so I'm hoping I'll be back with Drew and the lads doing that in Europe.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You never quite know with what I do. It's never a straight line, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But but you never quite know where you're going to end up tomorrow. So we'll see. So for today, I'm in rugby.
Nice. So, as usual, last word to the guest. Have we missed anything else you want to chat about before we go?
You know what? I did mention the Joe Jackson thing, this one here.
Yep.
One good thing with this, and why everybody should go and buy one of these packs, is that the money raised for the packs goes to the literacy program in the States. Is it Greensburg? I think Greensboro, where the museum is. They have set up like the little wooden mobile libraries. So what they're trying to do is put those in to increase, because Joe Jackson couldn't read. So what Dan wants is to help the literacy in the area. So they set up these mobile libraries, or these I don't know what you call those kind of libraries, but they've got like little doors and wooden kind of.
I know what you mean.
One of these, they're setting those up. So every time you buy one of those packs, the money that is raised for that goes to helping literacy in the States. So I've got ones of these that, again, I think I'm going to try and get them online, and then see if I can do similar, or at least donate the money raised from these to literacy over here. So I think that's the one thing to mention there. I've got this I think get to show you, Paper Tigers, great book by Greg Klein. I've just done the cover for that. That was again since we last talked. So there's Stripe, and then it's all about Ty Cobb and the 1912 Detroit Tigers and Philadelphia Athletics. It's a really good story, but that's been nominated for a Sabre Award, so very excited about that. But yeah, I don't know, really, nothing else really. I think we've covered a fair bit, and just thanks for having me on as ever.
Hey, anytime, that's your hat trick of appearances now.
Is it? Wow, there we go.
But if we had phone conversation into it, you'd have more chats than we have podcast episodes.
That's it.
It's always a pleasure to chat with you, Andy. You know that. And we'll look forward to seeing what you do. Oh, where can we find Happy and Glorious, the book?
Happy and Glorious is on my website, andybrownstadiums.com. 10% of money raised for that goes to help Team GB and keep the program being successful and running smoothly. So please go and get yourself copies of that. They're signed, dated, and numbered. So yeah, you can get all the stuff there, and Twitter, Instagram, usual places. We'll
put the links in the show notes as well, and you can send us the stuff for the baseball card as well. Beautiful. I'm sure there'll be a few people out there that'd be quite interested in getting the mitts on those too.
Yeah, they're good, yeah.
Andy, nice one, dude. I'll see you in a bit.
Cheers, Matt.